The true story of Katherine Knight, Australia's most twisted murder, based on a 100% true case. Imagine loving someone so much, you want to be with them forever. Even if it means taking their life, and cooking them for dinner. This isn't fiction. This is the true story of Katherine Knight, a butcher, a mother, and the first woman in Australian history sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. If you're into real horror that's too disturbing for the news, you've just found your channel. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and prepare yourself for a journey into a mind darker than fiction. WHO was Katherine Knight? Katherine Knight was born in 1955 in a small town in New South Wales, Australia. Her childhood was filled with abuse, neglect, and violence. Her father was an alcoholic who raped her mother, and her mother openly shared details of it with Katherine. Despite this, she excelled at her job, at the local slaughterhouse. She was so good with knives that she was promoted quickly and proudly hung her butcher's knives above her bed. They were always there, in case she needed them. Her love life. A path of violence. Katherine's relationships were a pattern of violence. She once slashed the throat of her boyfriend's puppy in front of him to teach him what would happen if he cheated. She stabbed another partner with scissors. She hit her own husband with a frying pan. Yet no one imagined how far she would go. Meeting John Price. In 1995, she met John Price, a kind, hard-working man with 3 kids. He was well-liked, stable, and generous. He thought he could handle her temper. But when he refused to marry her, she snapped. She filmed a video around the house, focusing on knives, bloody objects, and eerie narration. It wasn't a home video. It was a pre-murder confession. On February 29, 2000, John Price came home from work and went to bed. What he didn't know was that Katherine had bought black lingerie, a new knife, and sent her children away. She seduced him one last time, then stabbed him 37 times in his sleep. But it gets worse. She then skinned him, completely, in one clean piece, and hung his skin on a meat hook in the living room. She decapitated him, cooked parts of his body in a stew, and set a dinner table with name tags for his children, meant to be served with their father's flesh. When Price didn't show up for work, co-workers called the police. What they found inside that house was so horrific that seasoned detectives vomited at the scene. They found John's skinned body, his head in a pot, and the chilling table setting for his children. Katherine was found unconscious on the floor, having attempted suicide with pills. Katherine pleaded insanity, but the evidence was overwhelming. The judge said this was one of the most appalling crimes in Australian history. She became the first woman in Australia to be sentenced to life in prison without parole. She remains at Silverwater Women's Correctional Centre to this day, surrounded by high security. Katherine Knight is considered a textbook example of malignant narcissism, borderline personality disorder, and antisocial traits. But the scariest part? She showed no remorse. She wasn't a demon, a monster, or a ghost. She was a human being, a mother, a worker, a lover. And that's what makes this story truly terrifying. If someone like Katherine Knight could be so close, would you even see the signs? Did this case chill you to your core? Want more real-life horror like this? Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments.